Joe Biden's former doctor refusing to answer questions
Dr.
in
Kevin.
front. Dr. Kevin, maybe I should just have you explain this story, but yeah, he's pleading the fifth. Dr. Kevin O'Connor
Yeah.
will respectfully decline to answer any questions that might be posed to him by this congressional committee. This news broke today, Chris, and our friend Rachel Bovard posted on X, this classic Bovard, hold him in contempt and then straight to jail. The Navarro Bannon standard. That's the standard the Liz Cheney Democrats set, and no one is above the law. Was that shrill enough? Was that enough righteous indignation? What
That's
do you think,
classic
Chris?
Rachel. She's got high speed and then super high speed. She
We love her.
fantastic. So I call her all the time when I need to sound smart about something. But I actually wouldn't hold Dr. Kev in contempt so quickly. I
Really?
mean, I would keep that card ready to go. But I mean, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to prove that soupy brain president was in fact soupy brained at the time. Dr. Kevin is he's like the mob doctor. You don't who cares? You don't need to arrest the mob doctor. He's like you took care of what I want to know is which gunshot wounds were you taking care of? Which bosses were you covering up for? Who was who was criminally misusing the president? So like I would actually make him all kind of sweet promises. Like, hey, listen, we promise you complete immunity. We promise you that we're going to have immunity from ethics boards. We're going to try to figure out how to do that. I've never done that before. The
You've never behaved ethically, is what you mean.
Oh, I'm always ethical, just not always moral. It's
Key
ethics was my
distinction.
favorite class, the only class I probably liked in college. It gets dark real fast. Anyways, I would make him all kinds of promises like, listen, you're safe, Doc. You're safe with me. I'm not after you, but I am after people who you worked for. I mean, was he calling the shots? Absolutely not. He's pleading the fifth because of self-incrimination. That's not a really good look for a doctor in general, but I mean, he's not the one I'd be after. I'd be going after people who are higher up in the administration who signed off. And that's how you do it. You can't just you could put the mob enforcers and the mob doctors in prison all day long, but you really want to go for the kingpins.
But ultimately, you wouldn't be opposed to the Bovard standard here, which is saying hold them in contempt and then straight to jail because that's what Liz Cheney and the Democrats did.
They
And
did.
in order to sort of get out of this doom spiral, and this is a controversial argument, by the way, even on the right, but in order to
Why?
escape the doom spiral, yeah, okay. In order to escape the doom spiral, you have to fight fire with fire.
That's the only way. That's literally the only way. It's peace through strength. And I'm so happy that this administration, the Republican mindset has shifted so dramatically because there are a lot of different Republican presidents in the past who would have come in and said, we're going to take the higher road. We're going to be holier than thou. You take the high road, or I'll take the high road, you burn my village down. And this administration doesn't act like that. That's not what they're about. They're going to go in there and we've had a rough week for administration watchers in some ways, but this is a serious administration and much more serious than the first one. All the people are in place, mostly the right people on board, the efficiency, the willingness to move together as a team. I mean, look at that strike on Iran. You know for a fact that there are people, high-ranking people in that cabinet who didn't agree with that strike. There was no leaks to the New York Times. There was no leaks to Washington Post. There's no anonymous letter written. People
There's
left.
been all kinds of leaks about Bridge Colby in the last couple of days in Ukraine.
Yeah, well, he's in trouble inside the Pentagon, but I mean, in the White House itself, the Pentagon's got more leaks than the Iraqi Navy, and they don't like Elbridge Colby. But within the White House itself, it was a unified team moving in one direction, and that is an important thing to have on foreign policy. It's an important thing to have in domestic policy. Once you leave those discussions at Camp David, you move together as one team. So, I mean, I would threaten him. Absolutely. That's the only way that, hey, I'll cut you a break works.
But would you
is if
do it? Threatening is one thing. Would you do it and put him in jail?
if he refused to cooperate. If he's a dead end witness, but the whole point of this is to flip him, to make him scared, to make him say, I could lose my license, to make him say, I could lose my freedom, and then say, actually, don't worry. Have I got a deal for you, Doc? Have I got a deal for you? Let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the people who made you, because I know you didn't want to do this. I know you're a good guy, somebody made you do this, and I want to get that guy. You know, he's a bad guy or woman, probably a woman.
Yeah. Well, wait a second.
These are Democrats we're talking about, Emily.
Yeah,
the men are
it was
tough.
probably. Are you saying that this doctor may have perhaps been beholden to a hired doctor? Someone who could have been our Surgeon General, according to Whoopi Goldberg, Dr. Jill Biden.
Yeah, thank you for using her proper address as well. This is extremely
It's sexist
important.
not to, frankly.
Yeah, well, guilty, I guess.
So this is, to just put a point on this, one of the things O'Connor says he doesn't want to do is reveal confidential patient information. The committee doesn't necessarily, for what it's worth, need to get him to reveal or to like break doctor-patient confidentiality. There are all kinds of questions that are on the periphery of the actual doctor-patient relationship that could be useful to get Dr. Kevin on the record about from the House Oversight Committee. On that note, Chris, though, you were just going in this direction of something you'd written about recently, and you wrote a great newsletter. It's called the Beltway Brief.
Thanks.
You can get to that on blaze.com.
/Bedford.
/Bedford.
Right there.
What a ridiculous URL, but you can get it there. And Chris, this is F9. You wrote a piece that was headlined, "Rumors of a MAGA Civil War Are Just Wishful Thinking." And for the sake of having a little bit of fun here, I wanted to raise you. I see your headline, and I raise you one Nick Fuentes talking to Alex Jones. This is S5.
Well, the reason I think it's over and I'm just done with him is because he's really betrayed us on a lot of the key issues already. I mean, this is the first 6 months of the second term. And the big question, which was hanging over people like you and me, and by that I mean people that are paying attention, we knew the problem from the first term is that he had bad personnel. And that's a fair problem to have. He's an outsider. He's inexperienced. He relied on Reince Priebus and Paul Ryan and these other people to basically run his first term. And it was a disaster.
So Fuentes, who of course openly refers to himself as a racist at this point,
I think that's been his deal for a while.
He told Candace Owens recently that he used to refer to himself as a racialist, but now he just calls himself a racist.
Those are the creepy ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Boston. Like, I don't really like. I'm used to people just having dislike for like other types of white people. Like, it's pretty standard. But the racialist means you're
yeah.
like,
No,
I'm
I've
into
experienced that.
Skulls, and that's
you're like
that's
your last
weird.
name is Jashinsky.
Where would you say that comes from? Let me measure the circumference of your skull.
Yeah.
Like, that's what racialists do. They're creepy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grandpa's racist, you know. It's like,
So I'm saying all that is to say, Fuentes is a representative of the MAGA base, of course. All of that is worth saying. But give us your argument amidst the serious fractures over the one big beautiful bill that was ultimately passed, and everybody is like eagerly touting it and has been over the course of the last week. Big signing ceremony and you know, as many like bitter pills as people were forced to swallow in like House Freedom Caucus, and also Lisa Murkowski. It's a strange coalition. Now there's furor and uproar over the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. There's anger over the Ukraine stuff that we just mentioned. Bridge Colby wanted to focus more on China, and people are inside the administration leaking to NBC and all of those different places about how terrible Bridge is because he has a smart strategy and all of that. So, Chris, it seems like there is a MAGA civil war, but you say there's not. So make the case.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement too. And first of all, I'm not angry at you for platforming 20, but I am angry at you because now I know what he sounds like, and it sounds exactly like what I thought. I mean, there's not a lot of
dude from
There's not a lot of alpha energy there. There's something that's kind of creepy, like makes you move down away from the bar, even if he's just sitting there talking about puppies and flower petals. It's like, this guy's weird.